So we'll begin by settling our mind with breath awareness meditation. So begin by just checking your meditation posture, making sure that your body feels comfortable and relaxed, that your spine is as straight as possible. And allow a little light to filter through your eyelashes. So now just focus your attention on the passage of your breath, either with the rise and fall of your abdomen or with the breath going through the nostrils. So remember, you don't need to change the pace or the depth of your breathing. You just need to pay attention to the process of breathing. So without straining or forcing, simply be aware of breath coming in, breath going out. You'll immediately notice that your mind is distracted by external sounds, the sounds of the birds chirping, people moving in the room. But just note these external distractions, don't become involved with them, don't start any storylines. As soon as you notice that your mind's been distracted, then just gently and firmly return your attention to the passage of your breath. Without straining or forcing, simply be aware of breath coming in, breath going out. You'll also be aware of thoughts and feelings coming up in your mind, one after the other. So just deal with them as you did with the external sounds. Just note them and let them go. Don't become involved with them. Don't start any storylines about the future or thinking about the past. As soon as you notice that your mind's been distracted, then just gently and firmly return your attention to the passage of your breath. Simply be aware of breath coming in, breath going out. So with this part of your mind, just keep checking over and over where your attention is focused. And if you find it's been distracted, whether by external sounds or by internal thoughts and feelings, by internal hopes and fears, as soon as you notice the distraction, then just gently and firmly return your attention to the passage of your breath. Simply be aware of breath coming in, breath going out. So be aware that this meditation requires patience, that our monkey mind is happy to jump all over the place. We just need to be aware of what's happening. When we notice we've been distracted, and just return our attention to the passage of the breath. Simply be aware of breath coming in, breath going out. So now with a mind that's a little more settled, we'll generate a positive motivation for doing this Mani retreat session. So this motivation comes from Lamso Rinpoche, one given during the very first Mani retreat here at Chenrezig Institute in 2000. If I had the realization of great compassion, Mahayana compassion, the numberless hell beings who are the most kind and most precious ones in my life, and who are experiencing unbearable suffering, would be liberated from all that suffering and its causes and achieve enlightenment. So here, remembering that compassion is the wish for all beings to be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. And with great compassion, we actually take on the responsibility for accomplishing this on ourselves alone. So think about, if you're familiar with them, the sufferings of the hot and cold hells. If you're not familiar with the hell realms, then think about hellish existences that are experienced by humans or animals on this planet, whether because of fighting and war, being tortured. So bring to mind that kind of unbearable suffering, and then from your heart generate a strong wish, strong aspiration to actually relieve all those beings who are suffering in that way, experiencing hellish sufferings. Have the strong desire to relieve them from their suffering and to bring them happiness, especially the happiness of full enlightenment. If I had great compassion, the numberless hungry ghosts who are the most kind and most precious ones in my life and who are experiencing unbearable suffering would be liberated from all that suffering and achieve enlightenment. So again, if you're familiar with the extreme sufferings of hungry ghosts, especially that of hunger and thirst and exhaustion, and contemplate that suffering and develop a strong wish to relieve all those predator beings of their suffering. If you're not familiar with the predator realm, then think about addicts and the kind of intense desire and suffering that addicts experience. And again, generate the strong wish to relieve them from that suffering and to bring them every happiness, especially the ultimate happiness of full enlightenment. If I had great compassion, the numberless animals who are the most kind and most precious ones in my life and who are experiencing unbearable suffering will be liberated from all that suffering and achieve enlightenment. So we're all familiar with the sufferings of the animal realm. So bring to mind the various things you've witnessed yourself, heard about from others, or seen in video clips. Think about the cruelty to animals, the way they're exploited, used for food, the way they're tortured. And also think of the sufferings that come with being born in an animal realm, having dull minds, the inability to communicate. As Lama Zopa Rinpoche points out, that humans are very ready to protest anytime something happens that they don't agree with or that causes them to suffer. But animals don't have this freedom to communicate. They experience incredible suffering and have to experience it in silence. So bring strongly to mind the suffering of all the animals in the animal realm and generate a strong wish to relieve them from all that suffering and to bring them to happiness, especially the happiness of full enlightenment. If I had great compassion, the numberless human beings who are the most kind and most precious ones in my life and who are experiencing the unbearable suffering of samsara and all the problems of human beings would be liberated from all that suffering and achieve enlightenment. So we're all thoroughly familiar with the problems experienced by human beings, those that we experience ourselves, those experienced by family and friends, those that we witness others experiencing. So bring these sufferings strongly to mind, particularly at this time, the sufferings that have been caused by the pandemic. Think of the sufferings of all the people who've contracted COVID-19, the hardships experienced by all the frontline workers who are caring for those with that disease. Think of all the grieving people all around the world. And then just remember, this is just one of the many sicknesses that human beings experience. It's just one amongst the myriad of problems that human beings experience. So bringing all those problems strongly to mind and generate a mind of great compassion, this wish to take responsibility to free them from all their suffering and to bring them the ultimate happiness of full enlightenment. If I had great compassion, the numberless Asura beings, who are the most kind and most precious ones in my life, and who are experiencing unbearable suffering, would be liberated from all that suffering and achieve enlightenment. So if you're familiar with the sufferings of the Asura realm, then bring them strongly to mind. Their dissatisfaction, their feelings of jealousy about the gods, their competitiveness with the gods, the sufferings they experience as they fight and are wounded and killed. If you're not familiar with the sufferings of the Asura realm, then bring to mind people you know who are jealous, or think of your own jealousy and the kind of sufferings that come from that. Then generating a mind of great compassion, a wish to free all beings from these kind of sufferings. Generate the strong wish to personally free them from that suffering and bring them to full enlightenment. If I had great compassion, the numberless Sura beings, who are the most kind and most precious ones in my life, and who are experiencing unbearable suffering, will be liberated from all that suffering and achieve enlightenment. So again, if you're familiar with the sufferings of the Sura realm, the God realm, the intense suffering they experience when they come to know they're about to die, they'll take a lower rebirth, a rebirth with much more suffering. It's said that these God realm beings experiencing more intense suffering in that short period before they die from the God realm and are reborn in a lower realm than that experienced by beings in the hell realm. So if you're not familiar with the God realm, then you can bring to mind people in wealthy situations, luxurious surroundings, who despite having everything they could want, as Lama Zopa Rinpoche says, everything they could want for many lifetimes, still experience unhappiness and dissatisfaction. Then with an awareness of the suffering, generate a feeling of great compassion, a wish to relieve all those beings of their suffering and to bring them to full enlightenment. If I had great compassion, the numberless intermediate state beings, who are the most kind and most precious ones in my life, and who are experiencing unbearable suffering, will be liberated from all that suffering and achieve enlightenment. So again, if you're familiar with the sufferings of the intermediate state beings, bring them to mind. Those feelings of confusion, as different experiences arise in the Bardo, the intermediate state. Their fear about their future rebirth. If you're not familiar with the Bardo state, then just think about beings in this world or feeling lost and alone, confused, don't know where they're heading. Then generating a mind of compassion, and that of great compassion, wishing to relieve all the intermediate state beings of all their suffering and its causes. Also generate the strong wish to bring them to the peerless happiness of full enlightenment. So bringing to mind all the sufferings as described in these 7 states of existence. Think, therefore I need to develop great compassion. Therefore I'm going to do the meditation and recitation of Chenrezig, the Buddha of compassion. So now page 17 in the Mani Retreat textbook. So we begin with the front visualization. So those who have a highest yoga tantra initiation or a great initiation of Thousand Arm Chenrezig can visualize themselves as Chenrezig. Otherwise, visualize Chenrezig in the space in front of you or on the crown of your head. With firm concentration, visualize in the space in front of you the divine form of thousand-armed Chenrezig, who is the embodiment of the infinite Buddha's compassionate wisdom. He stands on a lotus and moon seat. His body is in the nature of white light, youthful looking and decorated with magnificent jewel ornaments. He has 11 faces. His central face is white, the right green, and the left red. Above those, his central face is green, the left white, and the right red. Above those, his central face is red, the left green, and the right white. Above those is a dark blue face in wrathful aspect, with orange hair standing erect. And on the very top is the red-colored Amitabha Buddha in peaceful and smiling aspect. 2 hands are clasped together at his heart, holding the wish-fulfilling gem. On his right, the next hand is in the mudra of giving realizations. The next bears a Dhamma chakra, turning the wheel of Dharma. And the uppermost bears a mala, reminding you to recite the mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. On his left, the next hand bears a vase containing the nectar of his divine compassionate wisdom. The next holds a bow and arrow, symbolizing the feet of the 4 Maras. And the uppermost bears a white lotus, the purest of flowers, although born out of mud. The other 992 hands are also in the mudra of giving the highest realization. The skin of an antelope is draped over his left shoulder, symbolizing that hatred is overcome completely by peaceful, compassionate wisdom. So just spend a little time clarifying this visualization in as much detail as you can manage. But remembering the important points, that Chenrezig is one with your Guru, and that he embodies the infinite compassion of all the Buddhas. So now taking refuge in generating bodhicitta, we'll do the verse first once in Tibetan, then twice in English. Sangye chodan sogi chonam la janshu badu dagni kapsu chi dagi jinsogi pe sonam ki drola penche sangye drupa shu. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. Due to the merits of giving and so forth, may I achieve Buddhahood in order to benefit migrating beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. due to the merits of giving and so forth, may I achieve Buddhahood in order to benefit migrating beings. With the thought desiring to liberate migrating beings, I shall always go for refuge, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, until I reach the essence of enlightenment. With perseverance for the welfare of sentient beings due to wisdom with mercy, I take a place in the presence of the Buddhas and generate the mind of complete enlightenment. With the thought desiring to liberate migrating beings, I shall always go for refuge, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, until I reach the essence of enlightenment. With perseverance for the welfare of sentient beings due to wisdom with mercy, I take a place in the presence of the Buddhas and generate the mind of complete enlightenment. With the thought desiring to liberate migrating beings, I shall always go for refuge, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, until I reach the essence of enlightenment. With perseverance for the welfare of sentient beings due to wisdom with mercy, I take a place in the presence of the Buddhas and generate the mind of complete enlightenment. Generating the 4 immeasurable thoughts. We'll pause between each one on the first recitation and then recite the other 2 recitations straight through. So contemplating the meaning as we pause. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings not be separated from the happiness that is without suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free of attachment and hatred for those held close and distant. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings not be separated from the happiness that is without suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free of attachment and hatred for those held close and distant. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings not be separated from the happiness that is without suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free of attachment and hatred for those held close and distant. 7-limb offering. We'll pause after the line on rejoicing to meditate on rejoicing. I prostrate to the holy body of the Supreme Arya, the Great Compassionate One, and make each and every offering, those actually arranged and those mentally transformed. I confess all negativities and transgressions collected since beginningless time, and rejoice in the virtues of ordinary beings and Aryas. So here, just pausing to meditate on rejoicing. Rejoicing, first of all, in all your own positive thoughts and actions of the 3 times, past, present, and future. Those of other ordinary beings. Rejoice especially in the amazing qualities and activities of the Bodhisattvas. And then finally in those of the Buddhas and our Gurus. So rejoice not only in those doing spiritual practice of various kinds, but all acts of kindness that are happening in everyday life without any fanfare. Just feel happiness from your heart about every single act of kindness that's happening in the world every day. Please remain supremely until psychic existence is emptied and turn the wheel of Dharma for the sake of migrators. I dedicate the merits of myself and others to the great enlightenment. A brief mandala. Oh, Sashi Paki Joy Shin Me Tong Trong Ri ni de yen padi sange shindu mingte all wai droken nam dai shing la che pa sho. The objects with which my greed, hatred, and confusion grow, friends, enemies, strangers, body, and possessions, I offer without hesitation. Graciously accept them and bless me to be freed from the three poisons upon their occurrence. Please bless me that the lives the glorious gurus belong, that there be happiness and comfort everywhere equaling space, and that myself and others without exception accumulate the collections of merit and wisdom, purify the obscurations, and quickly achieve Buddhahood. O Arya compassionate eyed one, who is the treasure of compassion, I request you, please listen to me. Please guide myself, mothers and fathers, in all 6 realms to be freed quickly from the great ocean of samsara. I request that the vast and profound, peerless awakening mind may grow with the tear of your great compassion. Please cleanse all karmas and illusions. Please lead with your hand of compassion me and my greatest 2 fields of bliss. Please Amitabha and Chenrezig, in all my lives be virtuous friends. Show well the undeceptive pure path, and quickly place us in Buddha's state. May I, the members of my family, and all living beings be guided by you, Compassion Buddha, in all our lifetimes. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kanayatayami. So now meditating on the foundation of all good qualities by Lama Tsongkhapa. We'll pause between each verse to briefly contemplate its meaning. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and venerable guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. So contemplating the importance of guru devotion. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. Contemplating perfect human rebirth. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of black and white karma follow. Contemplating death and impermanence. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, peace bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativities and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Reflecting on karma, actions and their consequences. Seeking samsaric pleasures is a door to all suffering. They're uncertain and cannot be relied upon. Recognizing these shortcomings, peace bless me to generate the strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Contemplating the shortcomings of samsaric existence. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teachings is keeping the pratimoksha vows. Peace bless me to accomplish this essential practice. So contemplating the importance of ethical discipline as the foundation for all our practices. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all mother migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train in supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. So here contemplating the importance of great compassion and the development of bodhicitta. Even if I develop only bodhicitta, but I don't practice the 3 types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, peace bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. To contemplate the importance, once we've generated bodhicitta, of actually taking bodhisattva vows and performing the bodhisattva's actions encapsulated in the 6 paramitas or 6 perfections. So thinking about the need to practice generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic perseverance, concentration, and wisdom. Once I have pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, Please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. So here contemplating the importance of developing single-pointed concentration and then unifying that with meditation on emptiness, developing the special insight, direct realization of emptiness. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. So this is contemplating the importance of tantric practice. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I have become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. So this is emphasizing the importance of maintaining pure vows, pure samaya, and promises made, especially to the Guru deity. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, the essence of the Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. So again, contemplating the importance of tantric practice, especially highest yoga tantra. Like that, may the gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer inner hindrances. So here contemplating the importance of our gurus and spiritual friends in our ability to practice, and also just requesting not to have outer or inner obstacles to our practice. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stages and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. So again, emphasizing the importance of perfect gurus and being able to follow the Dharma path and to reach the completion, which is the state of Vajradhara or Buddhahood. So now we come to the mantra recitation. So just remembering that Lama Zopa Rinpoche advises that before doing the mantra recitation that we refresh our bodhicitta motivation. So think about our motivation at the beginning, that we motivated to relieve all the suffering beings in the 6 realms from all their suffering and its causes, and to bring them to the peerless happiness of full enlightenment. So as you're reciting the mantras, then think that you're reciting the mantras for that purpose. Visualization for the mantra recitation. On a moon disk at Arya Chenrezig's heart is the concentration being, the syllable Hri, surrounded by garlands of the mantra to be recited, Om Mani Padme Hum, white in color and standing clockwise. Light rays radiate from them, filling all the inside of one's body and purifying all negativities and obscurations. Light rays radiate outwards, from which a limitless assembly of deities of the great compassionate one are emitted, purifying the negativities and obscurations of all sentient beings and setting them in the state of Arya Chenrezig. These then collect back and dissolve into the Hri at the heart of Arya Chenrezig. So just remembering that you can do this visualization while you recite Om Mani Padme Hum, or as it suggests down below, you can meditate on any of the topics within the Lam Rim. So one thing you could do is to, again, go through the verses of the Foundation of All Good Qualities, contemplating the topics that appeal to you at the moment. You can also meditate on the meaning of the mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. Or you can send out light rays of compassion to beings in the 6 realms to relieve their suffering. And if you're unfamiliar with the 6 realms, then think of relieving the sufferings of beings in the human and animal realms. Or you can meditate on the actual appearance of Chenrezig as you recite the manis, just going through the details of the visualization. So recite Om Mani Padme Hum 21 times together, and then recite quietly to ourselves, and please keep track of the number of full malas that you recite. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme, Om Mani Padme, Om Mani Padme. Om Mani Padme Hum. So please record the number of complete malas that you've recited. So now the dedication verses on page 21, followed by some long life prayers. Due to the 3 times merits collected by me and by others, which are merely labeled by the mind, may the I, which is merely labeled by the mind, achieve Guru Chenrezig's enlightenment, which is merely labeled by the mind, and lead all sentient beings who are merely labeled by the mind to that enlightened state which is merely labeled by the mind, by myself alone, who is also merely labeled by the mind. Due to the 3-time merits collected by me and others, whatever kind of life I experience, happy or suffering, healthy or unhealthy, gain or loss, rich or poor, living or even dying, even rebirth in a hell realm, may all these experiences and every action I do from now on be most beneficial for all sentient beings, causing them to achieve enlightenment as quickly as possible. May whatever happens in my life be most beneficial for all sentient beings. Even if I receive criticism from people, may it be most beneficial for sentient beings. Even if I receive praise from others, may it be the most beneficial for sentient beings. If I am healthy, or even if I have a sickness such as cancer, may it be most beneficial for all sentient beings. Due to the 3-time merits collected by me, by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and by other sentient beings, may the pure teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa, the unification of Sutra and Tantra, be actualized immediately in my mind and in the minds of the members of my family, all the students and benefactors of the FPMT, and all other sentient beings. May the teachings of the Buddha in general and of Lama Tsongkhapa in particular spread in all directions and flourish forever. May I be able to cause this by myself alone. May the precious Bodhi mind, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. Due to these merits, may I quickly become the great compassionate one and place all migrating beings without exception in that very state. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samantabhadra too realize things as they are, I also dedicate all these merits in the best way so that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these roots of virtue with the dedication and praise is the best by the victorious ones of the 3 times, so I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. Due to all these merits, may all the father and mother sentient beings have all happiness, and may all the lower realms be empty forever. Wherever there are bodhisattvas, may all their prayers be accomplished immediately, and may I cause all this by myself alone. Gangri rawe kowe shinkam dil pendang dewa malu jungwe ne Chenrezig wang tenzing yatso yi shape site badu tengyu chi. Then just concluding with a verse of auspiciousness. May the source of benefit and goodness, the doctrine spread and expand. May the beings upholding the doctrine have excellent health. And may the source of happiness and well-being for all embodied beings, the doctrine of the Buddha, always increase. This completes the session. The next session will be in half an hour at 10:45. So just reminding you that there are various drinks available in the back kitchen here and milk's in the fridge if you'd like to make a drink here in the break time.